The ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome back to another TAT pod. I'm your host, Ben, and once again, I am joined by Paddy, who normally joins us on the back of a Liverpool defeat, and it's usually not a great one. But Paddy, today it's completely different. There's a lot to discuss, and I'm pretty sure you're going to have a very fun time doing that. So, how are you, mate?
Yeah, good mate. I mean, it could have been a lot worse. I could have been a lot less of a happy mood on this Sunday night we find ourselves in, but probably should have done as well because we weren't great. But the Anfield
No.
let off was superb. Hence why my voice is a little bit sore.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mike is going to be joining us very shortly as well. I think he's having a couple of issues with his laptop, but he will be here. Please make sure you smash the like button if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching on Twitter, please come across to YouTube at some stage because it's much better to watch it on YouTube. And Jamie says, big up, mate. Trentham's put us in a title charge. We'll talk about that man in great depth in just a little while, Jamie. But thank you for joining, mate. And Eunice says, get in. Spurs did us a massive favour. And of course, we are going to be talking about the Premier League table and what it could possibly mean for us as well. But yeah, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you haven't already, I don't know where you've been, but if you've watched our podcast before, you will know that we are sponsored by the amazing Your FUT card, which is basically memorabilia, customized memorabilia for all Ultimate Team lovers. As you can see here, all these kids have their own custom cards, which is dead easy to make. You just put in the information you want to appear on the card, and they do all the work for you. The new radioactive cards are on the site now as well. But if you're not into Ultimate Team and you just want a bit of player art for your wall or something, obviously there's many different designs. Some players that we obviously don't really care about, but Allison's got one, Firmino's got one, and I have one down here of um the Egyptian king, Mo Salah. So if you use TAT Pod at checkout, you do get 15% off. So thank you once again to Your Foot Card. Amazing, amazing, amazing company, amazing people. And we are forever grateful for you sponsoring our podcast. But Paddy, let's get straight into it, mate. We'll talk about the lineup. I want you to tell me you're going into Anfield and you see this team news come out. What are your immediate thoughts, mate?
Yeah, well, it was exactly as I predicted. Me and my dad, we had the conversation before the game, i.e., who'd be starting, who wouldn't be, and he was a little shocked as to why I said Gravenberch, and I initially said, you know, if he posts something on Instagram, it probably means the player's going to start. So I just went off that. Um, the team's completely fine other than like one fella, and we can't really control that at the minute, which is unfortunate. But I mean, you see the team, you think, okay, that should be more than good enough to beat Fulham with little to no problems. But yeah, the game didn't go that way. I think a lot of players had quite an off day actually. Um, Two of the front three, maybe three of the front three actually. All of them I don't think had particularly good game. And again, yeah, the midfield as well. I don't think many people had good games throughout the whole 90. But the starting 11 initially was okay until the game actually started and we found out it wasn't.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there was a lot of talk about this game as to who would start in the front three, who would come in the midfield. But in the end, I do believe that was the lineup I put out before the kickoff. I think that is on paper probably our best lineup on paper that we have available right now. Obviously, there's the debate Curtis Jones, Gravenberch. I don't mind either of them because I rate them both as highly as each other. Ali is obviously unavailable, as is Robertson. But yeah, I think from terms of what we have available right now, I do think that is probably maybe one or two arguments the best 11 we have. I didn't really have any worries with it either. I'm the same as you. Start the game before it kicks off. I'm fully confident that that team would get the job done at home against Fulham. But of course, we know looking back now, it wasn't as easy as that. It wasn't as straightforward as we'd have all hoped. But to be honest, Paddy, those wins for me as a fan, in hindsight, are the best wins. Obviously, and you're there at the ground, you'd rather not have a heart attack every 2 minutes. But yeah, go back to the start, mate. What was how do you before Trent goes before we go 1-0 up with the Trent free kick? How would you summarize the sort of start of the game? So opening 20 minutes, was you happy with it, or was you a bit? I'm not sure about this, or yeah, what was it like in the ground?
Um, the ground was what it's been like for Sunday 2 o'clock kickoff all this season. It's pretty flat, and it's a quote unquote nothing game. You should be turning up and beating these teams with no real worries if you want to be in the title race. Um, to be honest, I don't think we started that badly. Um, I've only seen the goals back, so I can't remember any clear cut opportunities we had. Of course, we had the offside
Yeah,
goal again. I haven't seen. But yeah, from maybe 15 onwards, it really became apparent that for some reason Liverpool weren't at the races, and it's okay to start games like these. The weather's not great, the atmosphere is a bit flat, and we played on Thursday, albeit rotated and whatnot. It's okay to start these games a little bit slowly because the opposition aren't going to cause you many problems. But as the half went on and we didn't really shake off the bad start, regardless of the two world class goals that we did score. Uh, as much as Fulham were good on the day, and definitely didn't deserve to lose the game, Liverpool didn't help themselves. It just felt like the easy bits became really hard for some reason. I think Gravenberch, especially in the first half, was very loose. Szoboszlai was the same. There was very little care taken with possession, and we were getting caught as a result of that. They weren't hitting us with well executed counter attacks. They were hitting us with, oh, they give us the ball, let's go and go the other way.
yeah.
So yeah, it wasn't the most inspiring atmosphere and place to be until Trent does what he does.
Yeah, Trent does what he does, and unfortunately, it has gone down as an own goal, which I understand and I do get it, but at the same time, I do feel it's quite harsh because it's his strike, it's hit the bar, it's gone in off the keeper. It's very fine margins, and he won't. I don't think we'll be too fussed because I watched his interview at the end of the game, and he said as long as he's had an input in the goal, that's all that matters. But it is a shame that it's been given as an own goal, but the strike is unbelievable. You know what? I could just sense something was going to happen from that free kick. I'm not sure what it was, but when he's put the ball down on the spot, maybe it's the fact that he's now wearing Predator boots as well, which I'm just loving. That every picture I see of Trent and he's got these Predators. And just on the side note, these Predators from Adidas, I've got the ones they made before these ones, and they're just not Predators. Like the ones they made before these ones, they've got the same colorways, red and black, but they're not the same. But these ones that they just made now are like vintage Adidas boots. And when Trent strikes a ball with them, I put a picture of Stevie today. I was like, this is Trent since he's been wearing Predators. He's just been unbelievable. There's obviously no correlation with that. It is just a little bit of fun. But yeah, Trent, the strike, incredible. Rodak couldn't do anything about it. And I'm not sure if he's ready to come in yet, but I'm going to bring him in anyway because he's been faffing about with a ring light for the last 5 minutes. It's Mike to talk about Trent's goal. I don't know if he's ready. I don't know if he knows he's on screen, but he is here. Mike, are you ready? He can't hear. All right, Mike can't hear.
God, it's gone again.
For a musician, quite poor if you ask me, but I'm joking, mate. But yeah, Mike will be joining us once he's all set up and ready to go. But yeah, talk about that goal, mate. Where are you sat on the ground, first of all?
Lower Anfield Road to the left, so it's towards the Kenny. Yeah,
Good
the,
view
the
then.
thing is with Trent is, yeah, his free kicks are obviously, he scored his fair few at the time in his time as a Liverpool player now, but he can be quite
Yeah,
inconsistent.
exactly.
You'll see ones that fly over, see ones that have hit the wall, but he's our only free kick taker. Obviously Szoboszlai's done bits for the national team, but we haven't really seen that in the Liverpool shirt yet. And as much as Salah is a good shooter of the ball, he's off the top of my head, I don't think he's ever scored a free kick. So of course it's going to fall to Trent, and his technique is oddly like it's very hard. What to describe it as? It's very depth. It's very like light footed. It's not like the Roberto Carlos of just build up as much momentum, put your foot through it. He caresses it. Is what I'm trying to say. He's very
Yeah.
much like light on his feet, up and over, and see where it goes. And yeah, he is very unfortunate that it goes down as a Leno own goal. but it is what it is. It's not going in if Leno doesn't, dive across. So it's unfortunate, but as you say, I don't think he'll care. I don't think any of us care really. So
No, absolutely. But then it wasn't as high sailing as that. We go 1-0 up, thinking, what, this is going to be routine win. We're on top. We are dominant at this point. I think it's fair to say we were dominating. We were comfy on the ball. And then they get an attack, and it just for their goal, their first goal, it seemed a bit too easy for me. From Soboslai to McAllister to Matip, and then I think the final man was probably Trent. And then the goalkeeper, I think, for all of their goals, maybe not the last one. I think that was just a case of Simicas not being big and strong enough. But the two goals, I do think, and I'm not going to bash Kelleher too much, but I do believe if Alisson's in goal, we probably don't concede them. I'd like to know your thoughts on that. But their first goal, it was just too easy, wasn't it? And we've seen that a few times this season where it just seems a bit lackadaisical, like just a bit passive.
oh yeah, definitely. Like it was odd to see Alex Iwobi have so much time on the ball, so many times throughout the game. Not even just the first half. He gets so
Mm.
much time down the left hand side, and I think it's is it Pereira who crosses it in at the end.
Yeah.
As you say, it's all very much too easy. McAllister loses his man, and to be honest with you, I think this is very much goalkeepers union um, coming out, but I don't think Kelleher can do a lot for the first
Mm.
goal.
Are you goalkeeper?
Yeah, only Sundays, like, but I've
Ah,
played in goal for like 15 years, so I know to a certain degree how hard it is. Like for a ball to come that angle from that angle as well, it's not exactly in front of him. So he's already moving across to his right, across to where the ball's coming from. For Wilson to flick the ball where it is, it's a very, like, how to say, it's a very hard decision for a goalkeeper to make because it's a split second one, whether you go with your hand or with your feet. De Gea was very good at it for United, making saves with his feet. But the simple fact of the matter is he hasn't reacted quickly enough. I'll let you have the second goal. The second goal was pretty, pretty shocking actually. But the first goal, I think it's just he's tried to react. He hasn't got there fast enough, and Ali's conceded a couple of them. I'm saying
yeah.
that with absolutely no substance, but I'm assuming he has because every goalkeeper concedes those goals. It's just one of them, and yeah, I think obviously I'll give you the second one, but
Mm.
I think it's a little bit harsh to pin it on him for the first.
Yeah, no, fair enough. And Mike's obviously joining us now. Once again,
Yeah,
he's
man.
back. He's all sorted. How are you, mate?
Well, yeah, I'm all right. So, for a bit of context, the reason I'm looking this way, for those who don't follow me on Twitter, my MacBook screen smashed earlier on this week. So, currently connected to my TV, and that's what all the anarchy was for me to try and get on just now. But so I can see Paddy and yourself this way. So, if I look this way, I'm not ignoring you. I'm actually looking at you. All right. Um, but yeah, no, listen, I'm doing great. I've seen some very questionable takes kick off. Paddy, I didn't see any questionable takes from you, so that's all cool. But from most people on the timeline, I don't know. I feel like there was some overreactions, both good and negative. Um, come the final whistle. I don't want to go over anything you guys have already spoke about though. So where are we at?
Oh, we've just spoken about Trent's goal and their first goal. So, do you have
Will
any
be.
input on those?
Um,
Well, the own goal,
Defensively, we could have
technically.
done. Yeah, listen, the Callagher goal, I think first one, I'm actually kind of on the same side as Paddy there. I don't think he's covered himself in a lot of glory, but I think defensively we could have done a lot better to stop the
I agree
situation.
with that. Yeah.
The Trent goal, listen, what a free kick that is. It's a shame it's not his goal. It has gone down as an own goal, I believe. Unless that has changed, but
No.
it's great technique and yeah, really for me, this was one of Trent's best performances this season. Like genuinely,
Hmm.
I thought he was
I
fantastic.
agree. I agree. And if you want to take away the goal that Fulham scored just before the break, oh, sorry, no, it wasn't. It wasn't that one. We've
And
missed one, haven't
we're
we?
missing a
We've
goal of
missed
the
one.
season
Yeah, I'm
here.
missing one.
Missing goal of the season.
How can I forget
And I'll
the
definitely
best goal
take that because
of
you know
the?
my opinion on
Yeah, go
Maka.
on. I'll let you have that, mate. Yeah.
All right,
go on.
thank you. So, Paddy, I'm not sure if you're aware, mate, but I've been on the train that Maka has been our best midfielder this season, and he's consistently showing it. And listen, I've got a case for it, and the longer the season goes on, my case gets proven right. All right. and that is the fact that in every single game he shows up. Don't get me wrong, he may not be perfect every game. He's playing in a position that isn't his position. But every game he shows up, and you can see that no matter what. Even when he's came back from South America, 2 hours sleep, whatever, he puts in a wonderful performance against City. There are certain midfielders which we love, and I love, that I think have gone ghost in some games that we needed them to turn up in. Szoboszlai being one, Gravenberch being another. And Gravenberch today had a really bad game. It's a shame to say it because I like him a lot. But Maka, unbelievable, and that's a great. I think that's a great introduction to what he can offer in the final third in terms of goal output. I think we haven't really seen that much this season because of his position. But the way it drops, I'm not gonna lie, I was thinking in my head, please don't shoot. Like, we've not really got too much of a foothold. I was like, we've not got a foothold in this game, man. Don't do that. I've seen this happen a million times. It'll go rose ed, and then I went into the top bins, and I tell you what, if my laptop wasn't broke before, it certainly is broke now. I flipped my bedroom around, bro, watching that. It was unbelievable technique.
Mate, you're spot on. My pet peeve is taking long shots for no reason. I absolutely hate it. When Gravenberch and Szoboszlai and even Trent, they all start taking long shots. I'm like, no, stop. Like, and then when Gomez shapes up to do one, it's like, oh my gosh, what is going on?
No. I'll say this: when Gomez shapes up to do one, I let him off because I'm
want him to score. Yeah,
we all want Gomez to score at some point. He has to score in his Liverpool career.
This one, Paddy, the way it just bounced for him, and as soon as it left his boot, everyone just knew, and you probably, again, great view of it from where you were sat. It just looked like it was going in from the minute it left his boot.
Yeah, like I was right behind it. So there's such a beautiful way of how this goal goes in, and Leno's dive makes it even better.
Yeah,
but it's so full stretch, and he's so nowhere near it at the same time. Yeah, I mean, it was similar to Thiago's goal against Porto in the way of, like, you can see him shaping up to hit it, and you're like, oh, I don't know, I don't think you should be doing that. But yeah, I mean, as Mike said, I wouldn't maybe go as far to say he's been our best midfielder, but I certainly don't think he's been bad by any stretch of the imagination. For him to announce himself in that manner, I mean, like, it's not a tap-in, it's not, oh, Maka scored, but it was like, okay, Maka scored, and it was unbelievable. Maka's being sound. He was sound today again in the six. The goal itself, I think, is on par, if not better, than Salah's against Chelsea.
Better. I think
2019, purely because it's a half volley. I know I'm trying to be like, sit on the fence, but I just do. I think it's a better strike. Obviously, that's an iconic goal from an iconic season, and maybe this one will turn out to be. But yeah, I mean,
more on that later.
Two moments of quality from Liverpool in the first half, amidst an absolute shower of mediocrity, more or less.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And look, you can look at that two ways. You can look at that and think, and I know you'll probably agree with the latter, Paddy. You can look at that and think, oh, we got lucky, we got away with one. But you can also look at that and think, if the front three's having an off day, if players aren't turning up and scoring goals, you need moments of brilliance sometimes to win games. And there was a lot of games, I speak to my brother about this, in 1920. I think people forget so many games we won by like 2-1. Like, there was so many games where we just won narrowly from one moment. And that's ultimately, if you are going to win a league, you need that. Like Trent said at the end of the game, not every game can be 3 or 4-0. And especially when you play not great like we did today, those moments bail you out. You can't rely on them because they're not going to happen. Our players aren't going to score worldies every single game. But once in every so often, these moments, these goals, they're vital. And Asim, big up Asim from Born and Red. If you guys want to check those guys out, amazing channel, amazing people, done some brilliant stuff.
Yeah, big up
especially
Asim.
With Palestine over the last few months. So big up to you, mate. We're doing a mad one. We are, mate. We absolutely are. And we'll talk about Liverpool where we are right now in general once we've got through the goals and the big moments of the game. But nice to see you in here, mate. And George says, still think it's a must we get a 6 in January. Great, Matt can play there, but use him there when we know for sure we'll dominate possession and won't get sliced through like butter 8 or 10 times down the middle. What do you think of that, Mike?
Listen, we do need a more defensive body.
I'm sorry, just before you carry on, people are saying Paulinia. No.
Oh, Jesus, no. We don't need that at all. I think we need a more defensive body, but we don't need an out-and-out six because we don't play with an out-and-out six. So it'd be a bit of a pointless signing. We need a defensive player. We need someone who can go into where Mac is and play that role so Mac can play higher up the pitch. But Mac isn't a lone six. We don't play with that. See, people ask for a destroyer. We don't play. We've never played with a destroyer. I'd never even classify Fabinho as a destroyer. We need someone who's physically present in midfield, who can break up play really well, who can commit about 10 fouls a game and maybe get away with it without getting a yellow card. That is a genuine talent that some midfielders have. Rodri's got it for sure. That's the type of player we need. There are some out there on the market. They're far too expensive, and I don't think we'll sign one, if I'm being candid. I think we will make a signing in January, and knowing us, it will be a player for a position we think we don't need. And I'm being honest. I can see us, to be fair, I can see us signing like a left back, depending on the Simicast Robertson situation, like a young left back, not like anything more. I can see us signing, weirdly enough, I can see us signing another 8 that maybe we convert to a defensive midfielder, similar to what we did with Gini. I don't think Gravenberch is that. I've seen people compare Gravenberch to Gini. They're very different profile players. Gravenberch is a lot more progressive with the ball and a lot more positive. I think Gini was a lot better, to be honest, in terms of control. Gravenberch hasn't really impressed me with that. I think he was very loose with the ball today. Makes me sound like I'm coming down on him. I love Gravenberch, just for clarity. But yeah, I don't know. I don't see a sign in the 6. I think that's gone now. I think the way he talks about Trent and the way he talks about Maka in the 6 as well, in that role rather, that we can just call the 6 for keeping it easy. I don't see it. I think he's might just keep Maka there, if I'm honest. I think we're going to see Trent convert to a midfielder as well, judging just off what's happened in the last couple of weeks.
I don't see a signing in January, to be honest. Unless someone's maybe we'll get a centre back because we do this thing where when a player's going in the summer, we like to bring like a Gakpo or Diaz in January whilst the other guys are still there. So maybe we'll get a centre back in that instance if Matip is going. But I honestly think contract extensions are coming, and I know people will say, "Oh, you don't have to do it in a transfer window," but it seems at the minute that's what we like to do. So my prediction is Trent and Virgil van Dijk to get extensions, but that's another conversation.
Mine's Salah and Klopp, so I'll go 2 for 2 with you.
Interesting. Where Tete, the equaliser before half time again. Paddy just poor set pieces. They've been a pain in our backside, haven't they, in this season? And it's a bit of a mess. There's a questionable offside. It's not offside. It's offside. I don't know why I even spent ages checking it. But this one, and again, this isn't to just come down on Kelleher. This should have been saved. But again, a lot happens before it gets to that point.
Yeah, I mean, the marking's pretty poor, especially with Jimenez, who, you know, ever since his injury, maybe hasn't been the aerial threat as he once was. But you don't just lose that. You'll always have that in his locker. It's a little bit fortunate, i.e., how it falls to Tete. I can see what Kelleher's trying to do. Because I've been in that situation myself where you see the ball and you see maybe 2 or 3 attackers pretty much on it, and you try and preemptively get out before they reach the ball itself. It's just, I wouldn't say he's gotten unlucky because it's the wrong decision, because he's panicked and Tete's just got there and stabbed it past him. Can he save it anyway? I mean, not in that situation. I don't think. I think he's killed himself before he's even got the shot off. And yeah, it was just another really sloppy goal, very much indicative of Liverpool's performance. And in fairness, Fulham deserved it. Fulham deserved to go into half-time level, and people forget they probably should have. Well, they very nearly went into half-time ahead. If it wasn't for Geller making a very genuinely decent save from a corner about 2 seconds later, so I'll give him credit for that. But I mean, no, he trains with. I'm sure all our opinions, the best goalkeeper in the world every day. He won't need telling by anyone that he's made the mistake. He'd have known that straight away. So it's useless going for him on Twitter and not, as I'm sure people will have done and will do in the next couple of weeks, because he's going to be in goal. And let's face it, Liverpool can see goals with Kelleher in goal. It's a pretty determined fact. I don't have the stats on me, but off the top of my head, 4 at Southampton, 3 today. was it 4-5 against Arsenal in the League Cup a few years ago?
Mm.
League Cup, I'm right. So there's three off the top of my head. We can see goals with him in goal, and you need your goalkeeper to prevent that, not bring it on.
Yeah, you're right, and I think at the moment, and people on Twitter and opinions obviously are very easy to put out there. You are right, and that will happen. But I did a tweet, and it said, "Whilst Alisson's out, we're going to have to score 4 to win games," and that's exactly what happened today. So yeah, you're right.
Nostradamus
Look,
of football, Ben. Honestly,
yeah,
some of the amount of times
exactly,
I see your
mate.
tweets
Listen,
come. Jesus.
listen, mate. I should be a pundit, bro. I should quit
All
my
right,
day job
easy.
and work at Sky. But nah, any goalkeeper in the world is a drop off, isn't it, Mike? From Alisson and what
Yeah.
he's done this season, what he's done, not even this season, from the minute he signed for Liverpool, saved our backside time and time and time again. This season again, he's just been incredible. Last season we would have finished mid-table if we hadn't had him. So any drop off, any goalkeeper coming in when he gets injured, and let's face it, he gets at least one little injury each season. We've just sort of got to get through this period, haven't we? Score plenty of goals and try to protect him just a little bit more.
Yeah, no, I think with Kelleher, it's like I don't think Kelleher's a bad keeper, but he's not Allison, and the way we play, maybe it could, to be fair, it's a fair criticism maybe for how we defend as a team, but the way we play, we need the best in the world in goal. We do, because we need someone who can rush out from the goal. Read the high line well enough to. There was a moment in the first 5 minutes where they basically beat our front line, as our back line rather. They got them behind, and the ball was like wasn't in the box, just outside the box basically.
Mm-hmm.
And Kelleher was still stood in his line, and straight away I was like, yeah, Allison would have been out to clear that. It's the small little details. Now that doesn't mean Kelleher's at fault for that, but I know what Allison would have given us in that moment, because Allison is the best in the world, or even a neutral fan would probably say Allison's top 3 in the world. You know what I mean? Like he is the standard, especially for the way we play. So listen, with him in goal, I think if anything, I won't draw scrutiny on him. I'll be scrutinizing our defenders more than I'll be scrutinizing Kelleher, because it's almost like when you're playing it's like whenever we play Origi up front. Like I'd never really be like, I'm expecting Origi to score a hat trick, but I would be expecting people to create chances for him. In the same way with Kelleher, I'm not expecting him to keep a clean sheet, but I am expecting our defense to work resiliently to limit the opportunities we give to sides. So if someone goes through 1-on-1, I'm not going to be asking, oh, should Kelleher have saved that? I'm going to be going, how did he get through 1-on-1? Who didn't hold the line? Who didn't press the man? Because today he made mistakes without a doubt. The second goal is a good example, but we didn't defend well, like at all. I really don't think we defended well, and a lot of people have avoided scrutiny because they can just say, "Oh, Kelleher." So it is what it is.
No, I think that's fair. I think that's spot on. I don't think Van Dijk was particularly great today.
No,
I don't think any of them were, and Tsimikas will get onto him in the back post. I don't think Tsimikas had the worst of games, to be fair.
I thought he had a good game for the most part.
Yeah, it's just this moment which I don't think you can blame him too much for simply not being big and strong. But we're going to skip to this goal anyway, and we'll just come back and talk about the game in a bit more detail if we need to. But obviously the ball gets put in at the far post to Deco over Reed. Yeah, it wasn't it? And he's just beating Tsimikas, and again it's sloppy. It's back post defending, Paddy, which again has been a bit of a target for us. It's usually on the other side, isn't it? People usually target the right hand side of our defense for the back post, but in this instance, as soon as that ball goes in, I think there's Virgil standing over it, Tsimikas is standing there, and it's just a bit of a mismatch at the back post, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean the goal itself is like it's a catalogue of errors, because comes again from Liverpool giving the ball away midfield. I think it was Gravenberch on this occasion. It comes down Fulham's right hand side, and as much as Tsimikas isn't at fault for the goal itself directly, he doesn't do nearly enough to stop the first cross coming in. The same can be said for Joe Gomez on the opposite side. When the ball comes across, he's very, very slow to get out. And yeah, I mean, it is what it is, isn't it? Like Tsimikas isn't, as you say, he's not built. He's not gonna out jump a striker who's pretty decent finisher. Is Deco Overeed over the years. I mean, the last time Fulham were in the Premier League was 2021. Yeah, I think he was the top scorer. I could be wrong, but he's proven himself to be a Premier League player, and his eyes must have lit up because he's peeled far enough away from Van Dijk to basically get the jump on Simicast. Kelleher doesn't move fast enough for me. I'm not saying by any stretch Alisson saves it. I'm just saying he might get a little bit closer, and it's pretty irrelevant because it goes in anyway. But yeah, I mean, there was 80 minutes on the clock at the time, and you think, you know what? I just shouted. I was like, you just deserve it. You deserve to be in front. Liverpool didn't do enough. Every shot we had, whether it be from outside the box, inside the box, was always straight at Leno. I don't think you have to even really dive to make a save until Gakpo had his pot shot just before the winner. So as you said though, off day when the attackers have the off days and whatnot, people have to come up from somewhere else. But conceding that goal with 10 minutes to go it wasn't even a kick in the teeth because we weren't even miles the better team.
Absolutely. Anfield, Uncle Rod says big win for us Reds. Absolutely. Massive 3 points. And we'll talk about what that could mean for us in just a little moment. And Philip says if Trent is converted to the DM position, we won't make the best use of him and we need a right back. You could talk about this all day. You could literally spend in fact, we did. I think a few months back, I think it was the back end of last season, we literally did a whole stream discussing Trent and his role. I think people just have to accept now that he's blossomed and he's developed as a football player. It's not about his assist tally anymore. It's not about what records he can break. He's done all of that, and we won trophies by doing that. I think now we're trying to make Trent the most complete football player he can be, and that might benefit the team, or some people say that might not benefit the team, but I don't see it changing for the foreseeable. I definitely don't see him just going back to hugging the right hand side like he used to do. So I think it's a bit of a waste of time to discuss it, to be honest, because I think Klopp's made up his mind, at least for this season, where he wants him to play, and I think that's going to be that. Eunice says that's been kind to Fulham. Their third goal was their first shot on target in the second half, I believe. Yeah, fair enough, but I think when Paddy and us lot are talking about Liverpool deserving it, or we can't really blame anyone. I think it's more the fact of how we've played rather than how the opposition's played as well, because we know what we expect from Liverpool. We know by half time, you're probably expecting at least 4 or 5 shots on target. You're expecting big chances created. You're expecting the defense to look resilient, and there wasn't that today. So based on that, I think what Paddy says was spot on. And Mike has joined back. I believe he might be on his phone. Because his laptop did die on him. He's going to have to get on the phone to Apple in the morning, see if Tim Cook can sort him out of a new MacBook. But he's here.
Yeah, I can.
Yep.
How's
Mike,
the audio?
That's all good. It's sound. You can get by for 20 minutes, I'm sure, at least. Yeah.
Right.
We're just discussing the back post goal. Did you have any closing thoughts on that before we talk about the Japanese maestro?
The Japanese maestro. No, I'm pretty sure you guys probably covered it, but Simicast could have been stronger. Not enough bodies tracking back in general. We looked at 6s and 7s the entire phase. Kelleher, you could say maybe could have came for the second ball, but maybe not really. But I'm a little bit fuzzy on my memory of that goal, if I'm honest with you. So other than Simicast being a little bit stronger in the back post, there's not too much commentary I have for it, really.
Absolutely. And Mike, we'll let you crack on with the Endo goal then, mate, seeing as you just joined us back. Konate smashes the ball up the pitch. Darwin Núñez knocks it down to Salah, who plays it to Endo, who smashes it in top bins. And it's a bit of a shame because he couldn't really celebrate it in the way I'm sure he would have hoped to have celebrated his first goal. It was more of a case of get the ball back and we go again to win the game. Well, I don't know about you, mate. I know we spoke about Endo a lot on this show. For me, it was a lovely moment. Because I really like Endo, I really do, and I think he's had a lot of unfair criticism, and I'd go as far to say hatred from a lot of the online fans. I really would. So, for you, mate, how was that goal?
Yeah, unbelievable. I don't know about you. I did celebrate it. I think it was. A
Oh,
goal
I
that
did.
very
Yeah,
much
absolutely.
defined like him as a person in a way. It was a very defiant moment. We're behind. We needed the moment of quality. I must admit, I very much enjoyed looking at the timeline and seeing people's tweets like, "Why is Endo coming on?" And then, like 5 minutes later, he obviously scores this unbelievable goal. And to be honest, he didn't put a foot wrong in that game. Like, let's make that clear. I think defensively he was fantastic, progressed the ball very well. It was a perfect cameo from him, and he's done himself no harm coming into this very busy period of time. And there will be shouts for him to start midweek. And to be fair, I wouldn't mind him starting midweek either. With McAllister playing further forward, give Gravenberch a rest. Jones hasn't looked at it, so play McAllister further forward, pop Endo in the six. I'd be fine with that. I'm sure a lot of people will still disagree with that, but no, it's an absolute beauty of there's a wonderful shot which I think you posted, Ben, from behind, not behind the goal, but like behind Endo as he's lined up the shot, and you just see how perfect he's hit it, and it's an unstoppable finish, and it was just what we needed. And Salah, even though he put in a very poor performance, got an assist, so I'm sure he's very happy about that.
Absolutely. And Paddy being in the ground at that moment, we all know what Anfield crowds are like. As soon as you get an equalising goal, and there's still, let's face it, in 2023, when you're on the 87th minute, there's still normally at least 10 more minutes to follow. And from my legitimate way of watching the game,
Oh yeah.
it just seemed to go like so many decibels, and you could just sense something else was coming. But first of all, talk about the Endo strike, mate.
I mean, you know what, Mike's right, because I said to my dad, why is he coming on when
I
you
think
need a
we all
goal? But
did, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think we're well within our rights to think, why is Endo coming on? You need a
Paddy,
goal.
not
He's
me,
a
mate.
six.
Paddy, when he came on, I was like, he's about
Here
to
we
score a
go.
goal. Yeah, no,
Mike's
I
the only
predicted it,
fella on the
mate.
face of the planet. No, but yeah, I mean, Mike said everything well. Again, I was right behind it. I had a lovely view as it, and it was similar to Trent's goal in a way, the way he just caresses it top corner. Again, Leno's dive is wonderful because he's full stretch and nowhere near it again. But yeah, listen, the atmosphere was okay for a Sunday 2 o'clock game, but there was myself, my dad, a lad in front of me, a lad to the left. And we were like the only ones really up for it. And 9 times out of 10, you can come to Anfield, you can get involved, and Liverpool will win. But there are times where they actually need the crowd to spur them on. And there were times where I was just shouting, just can anyone just sing with you because he's here, and you, regardless of whether you believe it or not, you have the power to change this game, and the players need it. The Endo goal changed it a little bit. I celebrated it for like a second, and I was like, okay, go and get the ball. We've got time to win it. And to be honest, the atmosphere, I don't know how long it had to breathe, because we were all pretty much still on the high of the third goal, and then the winner happens, and I mean, it was probably the biggest let off inside Anfield. I mean, probably since Minamino in the League Cup against Leicester. The Jota goal against Spurs is up there, but for some reason he did a stupid celebration that got lost it all.
Never forgiven him for that.
Yeah, honestly. But yeah, I mean, the winner is again a very good goal, and up there with certainly the hardest that I've celebrated inside Anfield in the 17 years I've been going to the game. So it takes some time.
Absolutely, and yeah, Trent Alexander-Arnold. I mean, it comes from a Gakpo shot. Rodak forces the save. Nunes puts the ball back into the
Rodak
box.
was on the bench, by the way. Would just like to say that.
Sorry, who's their first choice keeper?
Leno.
Leno. Sorry, why do I keep saying Rodak? I don't know why I keep saying Rodak, but yeah, it is Leno. Yeah, I've written it on my notes as well. Leno makes the save. And obviously he pushes the ball back, and Nunes puts the ball back into the box. Look, I'm not going to try and be shameless because Nunes should have scored one today. From whether it be the first shot where he's in on goal and he hits the bar, or the second one, I think it kind of happened a bit fast, but he should have scored one of them, I believe. But what I will say is, even when he's had a game like today where fans are criticizing him, he still has a bit of a part to play in both the goals. So he puts the ball back in the box. Obviously, a couple. I can't remember what happened after that. I think someone knocks it down to maybe
Simicast knocks it.
Simicast, yeah, and then obviously drops to Trent. And I was watching an interview with Trent. Liverpool uploaded it. I did some quotes, TAT, and he even said like the first touch was poor because he controls it and then it sort of goes behind him a bit. So he has to adjust his body really quickly because ideally he's trying to control it for it to set up in front of him so he can just whack it, but it's gone behind him a little bit. So he almost has to take a step back and then hit it. And again, it's just one of those for me where when Trent's hit the ball, you just know it's going in. And for that to do that, recently he's been turning up whenever we've asked the question. He's been there, and for those guys who follow my personal Twitter, for anyone that knows me in real life, he is my favorite player. I absolutely love him. I'm not sure if it's because we've obviously seen the development. I was a bit too young to remember Stevie in 2001. I would have only been about 5, so I don't really remember him coming through from the 98 season, I believe it was. I was only born in 97, so it would have been impossible. But so I think that my attachment with Trent comes with us, like me and you two, watching him from a boy just become one of the best players in the world, which I will always stand by that because he is, in my opinion. He's now got the vice captaincy role. His level of leadership in this team now has gone up several levels, and for him to just keep doing this, it's incredible. And he's really mature now. He's no longer a young boy. He's no longer the star boy. He is the main one of the main players. And yeah, it was just a remarkable moment. You see the what it means to him. The belly slide again reminded me of a celebration Stevie did all those years ago. He's in with the fans. Nunes is in Soberslai's arms. Everyone's going crazy. Virgil, Canate, several other players are doing knee slides. It was just immense, and I was fuming with myself for not being able to get a ticket. That was my only thing. Like, imagine being in this ground. So, Paddy, I'm very jealous of you. But Mike, those smash and grabs, like we've said, they're as equally as important as turning the team over 4-0, aren't they, when you're going for titles?
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's a few things you said that I want to touch on there. First off, Nunes had an awful game. All right, so I'm just going to get this. Listen, you know for a fact I love Nunes. I back him. I've not been moved. That's the phrase, isn't it?
You didn't miss an open goal, though.
Listen, I'm not doing this comparison game with you because the thing is, Salah missed an open goal, but guess what? He's also got 10 goals this season. You can miss an open.
I'm talking about this game.
Ben. I'll talk about this game with you, right? I'll talk about the City game with you. Haaland missed a sitter today. It's allowed when you score the goals after. It's allowed because it's part and parcel. If you score 2 out of 5 chances, it's allowed. If you're missing all 5 chances, it's not allowed. And his build-up play was poor. His work rate.
I'm not talking about other games.
I'm talking about today when I'm saying that. His work rate today was poor. It's important to say because I'm someone who supports Nunes, and you know I do, and I love Nunes. But it's also important that I'm not showing over bias on it. He was poor today, and he should be dropped midweek.
I agree, but I'm saying in both goals, if you watch both goals back, he has a role. The first one, especially the Endo's goal, he knocks it down to Salah.
Then that's great. We wouldn't be in that position if he put his chances.
That's the sort of thing people were asking for Nunes to get better at last season.
Long story short, he should have got 2 goals. He should.
Yeah.
You're £60 million striker. He's got to show the chances.
And I actually agree with you, Mike, about the next game as well. I'd go Gakpo leading.
Cool, because I know you can say as well, like Paddy's right. I'm on board with Paddy there too. Like, and I'll move on from Nunes, but I just want to get my Nunes 2 cents in while I could. And also, Soboslai was bad today too. So I'm just going to be Mr. Negative real quick. A lot of poor performances. People just aren't picking up. Mo Salah bad today, but he's chasing a record. So this is what happens when he's a goal away. I've seen it before, but no, the limbs, the euphoria at the end, of course, like it's just something about it. You just enjoy. You know what? It reminds me a lot of. Do you guys remember the Norwich game where Lallana scored in the 95th minute? It was like 5-4. The limbs of that game, it kind of reminded me of that. The defense was awful. The attacking was really hit and miss, but you just felt like something was coming. And so be it. So it happened. And I'm glad Trent got the goal. I agree with you. I think he's really stepped up specifically in the last couple of weeks, I think. These are all recorded, but like early on in the season, I said I don't really feel like he stepped up as of yet. I felt like he was not playing his best football this season still. But the last month or so, I think he's really, really stepped up and he's looked fantastic. So really happy to see that. And especially considering the results around us this weekend, a very, very big 3 points. And I know we'd all be kicking ourselves even if we drew today. So yeah, very glad to see we got the win.
And speaking of results, and Mike, I agree with everything you said there. Even for me, I think now the time has come where we're big Darwinians. I love Darwin, but I do agree with you. I think Sheffield United away. I even said today before the game, I said I think the plan is probably you go Nunes here, you probably go Gakpo away at Sheffield because it's a more compact game. They're probably going to park the bus. You probably need more of what Gakpo can bring. But you mentioned other results, Mike, and I'm delighted that you said that because that brings me on to the league table. Exactly. And let's not scroll down too much because that ruins the joke I was about to say. Yeah. In fact, I don't even need to say a joke. You guys all know what I was getting at. United aren't in the shot of the league table there. But yeah, 14 games, second in the league, 2 points behind Arsenal. What today's results meant for us is that we have it in our hands now to be top of the table after we play Arsenal. It's in our hands. If we get the results leading up to that game and then beat Arsenal, we go top of the league. Which is brilliant for me because this is all I asked for. It is a big ask, but if we go back to the start of the season, pre-season, my objective and everyone was like, "Oh, what's your aim? Is it to win the league? Is it to get top 4?" I was like, I just want to be competitive again. I just want to be in and amongst it, go on a few runs in the other competitions, win 1 or 2 trophies, be competitive, come back with fight. And that's exactly what we've done. I know we've probably drawn too many games than what we'd have hoped for at this stage, but at the end of the day, we're above Man City after 14 games. That's a fact. And we have it in our hands to be top of the table after we've played Arsenal. And it is at Anfield as well. So that's another big point in that. And obviously, we've got Arsenal in the FA Cup as well. Some guys probably missed that because I didn't even know the draw was today. I just saw it.
Very quiet draw.
Wow.
Very
yeah. So we got Arsenal away. But Paddy, I would love to hear your thoughts because Mike's refusing to get involved in any title charge talk at the minute. Which you know what? Fair play to you, Mike. But Paddy, when you're looking at that table, what are you thinking, mate?
Oh, it's on. It's fully on. It's like I'm not really bothered where Arsenal are or Spurs or Villa. My eyes are
exactly
on
what I
City.
say. Mm-hmm.
I don't care whether you're 7 points behind Arsenal and you're 2 points behind City because Manchester City will finish in the top 2 this season, regardless of whether they finish top or second. They will be there. They won't finish lower than second. So if you finish above City, you still win the league. Arsenal still don't have players who have won the league other than Zinchenko and Jesus, who obviously won it for City. We do. We've got these players who know how to do it. Did it in the most mad situation possible. That, as you said, the run of games up until Christmas. If we want to win the league, which I'm still not saying we're going to do, because as much as City at the minute don't look like themselves, they can just flip the switch and go on a 15-game winning run. Like we've been on the receiving end of that before. So we reserved judgment until February, which is usually when they start picking up wins. But the longer you can stay within a point, 2 or 3 of City, even be above them as we are now, the longer you've got a chance of winning the league. I don't think it was anyone in anyone's right mind that Liverpool would maybe challenge, yeah, but with it, I don't know. I still think that's a pretty long way away. But games like today, it just creates that little scenario in the back of your mind. You go, oh, these might be back a little bit more than we thought we were, and we haven't even clicked yet. Really, we haven't played like overly well for a stretch of time. We've got good results. We've played quite well, but we haven't really fully clicked into gear. The City game before was mental. Simon Hooper is an absolute champion, and yeah, I'd be fuming if I was a City fan right now. But you've got these referees. You all make mistakes. You've just got to get on with the game, isn't that right,
Exactly.
guys? Yeah,
right, mate. Exactly, mate.
I'm going to chime in, Ben. I know you don't want my opinion on the title charge and all that, but I'm going to chime in.
All right. Mate. Go on.
All right. You look at keep the fixtures up if you could, please, mate. Sorry. So in terms of the fixtures, if you go back to them, Sheffield United away. After watching them the last couple of weeks, I agree. Listen, that should be a turnover. That should be 3 points. Palace away is never easy for Liverpool. When there's a big team away at Palace, very difficult. You get 3 points there. If you get 3 points, 3 points, 3 points, and then you go into Arsenal with max points in the next couple of weeks, and we beat Arsenal, I'll sit here and say we're in the title charge, because then you've got max points out of those games. To beat City to a title, you need to be 5-6 points clear of them for the majority of the season. I just don't know. I've not seen enough yet that suggests to me that we've got the experience within the side, even though we have experience within the league. But I think in certain areas of midfield specifically, to grind out certain games. Today we were so weak at times, man. Like I know we won the game, but you talk about Arsenal. Arsenal, when they're winning at the moment, they're winning convincingly. The Wolves game, they played unbelievable for 60 minutes. Like some of the football they played was phenomenal. We've not reached that level once this season. So I'm not going to sit here and write Arsenal off when they're playing better football than us.
The Villa game was good.
I was going to say
the Villa game was good.
Villa game was good. Villa game was really good. Yeah.
What we have done though is we've been to some of the toughest away grounds. Like we're seeing now everyone go to St James's Park and not winning. Even PSG, City, they've all gone there and lost. We've gone to Stamford Bridge, which is a very tough place to go. No matter how bad Chelsea are, Stamford Bridge is never an easy game. And we've gone to Tottenham. That was just pure corruption. No point even talking about that. We've ticked off the Amex point again, not great, but again, that's a ground.
That's a good point.
We always struggle at.
Away at Brighton's a good point.
We've ticked off the Etihad, which, let's face it, most of our rivals are probably going to go there and lose. So we've only got a few more of these grounds. The Emirates and Old Trafford, I believe, are on paper at least. I know nothing's won on paper, but they're the only two grounds for me that I'm thinking, you know what? Maybe not so much Old Trafford actually, but the Emirates, I'm thinking, yeah, that's going to be similar to the Etihad in terms of importance now this season. But yeah, what I'm saying is I think a lot of our rivals will go to grounds that we've already been to this season and also drop points, and we're still second in the league. So I know what you're saying, but I also agree with what Paddy's saying. If we click, like we've been good, but we know the potential in this team is just through the roof. So if we click and if we do get this right, then we can be in this conversation, and I believe we will. But Mike, I would like to ask as well why you didn't mention anything about United being a tough game. You said Sheffield United's a tough game. You said Palace is a tough game. You said Arsenal's a tough game. You didn't say anything about Man United.
I watched. Listen,
you as well.
I feel like my entire friendship group is everyone but Liverpool fans. But I watched the United game. I've watched a lot of United. They are god awful. God awful. Like
I agree. It's just funny you didn't say. You said Sheffield United's hard, but you didn't say
they're harder games. They are harder games. Sheffield United fighting for every single point, relegation candidates, and Palace away. Palace have one of the toughest away grounds in the Premier League. Right, when their fans get going, they are one of the loudest in the league. I stand on that, and we've watched it happen as Liverpool fans, mate. Like I can never discount Palace, but United, mate, United at home. If they've still got that man in charge, then mate, we should be rolling them over. We should be.
I agree. Agreed. Paddy, do you have any closing thoughts to make before we sign off?
It's one of them in terms of the title stuff. Liverpool fans, myself included, get very drawn into it very quickly.
Oh yeah.
As we should. We're fans.
Not Mike.
We can be allowed to. No, not Mike. No. We can be allowed to dream. As Arsenal, quickly found out last season, consistency is key. I know it's a horrendous cliche, but like grinding results out like today when you're not at your best, you can see 3 goals, but you still find a way to win anyway. Yeah. Obviously that didn't work in 2014, but we did concede about, I think it was 50 goals. We're not going to concede 50 goals this season unless there's a catastrophic injury to Alisson post United. As I said, we've just got to go with the punches. We should be getting 6 points out of the next 2 games. I know Palace is Liverpool's historic bogey team, but off the top of my head, I don't think we've been beat there since potentially 2014. Off the top of my head.
Did we not get beat there in 2016? I'm always not that it matters because that's still like 5 years ago. But yeah, go on.
2016. 2016, we won. Benteke scored a last minute penalty.
I'm thinking the other way because they beat us in the reverse.
No, I'm talking about at Palace.
Yeah, no, I got it wrong. I'm saying I got it wrong.
Yeah,
That's
they beat us at Anfield because that was Gerrard's last game
Yeah.
at Anfield. Oh, yeah, it was that season. Yeah, listen, Sheffield United are not good. This should not be a tough game for Liverpool. Obviously, we will have a show leading up into that, or whatever. But that should be 3 points. Palace away should be 3 points. United definitely should be 3 points. And you go into the Arsenal game, yeah, big game. But again, Anfield, Christmas, it's all nice and cold, and everyone's there for a fight. It's going to be good. So hopefully, we do the business.
Absolutely, Mike. Any closing thoughts?
No, I'm with you, boys. I'll be right on the train with you come the Burnley game after Christmas. You get me to Boxing Day, and we're still sitting where we're sitting. I'll be coming out with the almighty words that we're in the title race, mate. I'll be right with you.
Yeah, and I think that's the key. This period, I think we're going to learn a lot more about the team. If we come out of it on top, then I think it is time to start thinking. Actually, we're not here to, just be competitive, or we're not here to just finish in the top 4. We are here to genuinely try and win this trophy, or it could bring us, a reality check and think, oh, we're almost there, but there's still a bit of a way to go. Whichever way, it is what it is. We'll be where we deserve to be. Obviously, we've got a few injuries that we need to work around. Alisson should be back for United. I think Klopp said Diogo will be a bit longer. And just on Matip as well, I believe Klopp said that it won't be a short one. So that is a blow. Got Kanate. We've got Joel Quansah as well, thankfully now. Absolute brilliant player coming through the ranks. So we should be okay on that front. Of course, Matip, I think he's been brilliant this season. I don't think he's had enough credit, to be honest. But so it is a loss. But I think we've got the options now. We've got the squad to use, and we will use it. And I'm expecting a few changes on Wednesday. Maybe Harvey Elliott comes in. Maybe Curtis Jones comes in. I don't want to talk about this in detail because we need to get moved on because we've done an hour. But I would honestly consider dropping Szoboszlai for Harvey on Wednesday night. I really would. I agreed with what you said earlier, Mike. I don't think he's done enough in recent games, and I think Harvey has when he's played. So that's just my 2 cents on that. But yeah, we'll be there Wednesday night, guys. It will probably be a different panel reacting to it because I am going to the game with my brother. So yeah, I'll try and get some of the guys to do a show Wednesday night after the game. But take care, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you Wednesday night. See you later, guys.